I believe the government, luckily the defense minister is here. The service chiefs all are represented there. I think we will need a slightly different approach, and God willing. The military services don't play unnecessary politics. Well, we know there's politics everywhere, but they play the politics within the army, not the kind of politics we play. In 1999, when President Goodluck became a president, we know we had some issues in the Southwest. But government was able to bring it down because there was a clear focus, there was clear reason, and government was able to. And we had issues in the Niger Delta. And when I became the vice president, one of the major things I did was to visit the most dangerous camp of the militants in the Niger Delta. I remember when we flew down to Warri, by the time we get to the waterfront to take boats to that camp, they sent information to us that anybody following me must not carry a weapon. My ADC, my CSO, that nobody should carry a weapon. In fact, the Commissioner of Police of Delta State said, Vice President, no, you will not go there. The State Director of SSS to say, no, I will not go. I told them I will go. We took different options, we set different committees. We tried our best within that 5 years that I was there. I believe late Buhari too must have tried his best, because one of the committees we set up then, the Boko Haram nominated Buhari to lead their team to negotiate with government. So I was feeling that, if they nominated Buhari to represent them and have a discussions with the government committee, then when Buhari took over, could have been an easy way to negotiate with them. And
that is the first thing you notice, that a terrorist has become the president of Nigeria. Well, yes, that is the first thing you will take away from this story. That aside, so according to Goodluck, he said that when Buhari became the president, that he said, okay, at least he was the head of the committee then, and he spoke with them that by now he will just talk to them and they will be calm. But, you know, they continued even though they calmed a bit. And now, during Buhari's time, or regime, you can call it, the issue of IPOB, you know, spanked so seriously. And the only thing Buhari did was to send Python Dance 1, Python Dance 2, and Python Dance 3. But before then, look at what he said about Biafra.
That IPOB is just like a dot in a circle. If they want to exist, they would have no access to anywhere. And the way they are spread all over the country, having businesses, having property, I think IPOB doesn't know what they are talking about. In any case, we say we will talk to them in the language they understand. We will organize the police and the military to pursue them. That's what we can do, and we will do it.
That they are dots in a circle, and that he will speak to them in the language they understand. That he will mobilize the police, the army, the air force, all the security agencies to go after Biafrans. Meanwhile, in the issue of Boko Haram, people that were unaliving people without mercy, he went into negotiation. In the issue that spanked in the West, they went into negotiation. The issue that spanked in the South, as they call it, they went into negotiation. But the issue that spanked in the Southeast, they mobilized the police, the army, and air force, and all security agencies. What does that tell you? Good. Now, after Buhari's regime, Tinubu take over, and we were like, okay, somebody from the West is going to do better. Unfortunately, under Tinubu's watch, Nnamdi Kanu was sentenced to life imprisonment. Well, it might sound funny. Yeah, it might sound funny. But in all, I know that God is in control. Nnamdi Kanu said it, that dead or alive, that Biafra will come. But if they want to make it faster, they should even take him. They should kill him. So what are we saying? That Biafra is an enemy to Nigerians. Oh yes, Biafra and Nigeria are enemy. That is just the fact. Now, that being aside, this question that a lot of people have been asking, what are we going to do? For me, this is a personal option. I think the first thing we should do is to have one voice. Yes, I know it might be difficult. Of course, it will be difficult, but we must come together. The youth must come together and have one voice. Let us exclude the politicians because, of course, they can never support us because they are benefiting from the resources in Nigeria. So they can never agree with the youth. Oh, yes. So I think my personal option is for us to have one voice. Yes, let the youth have one voice. You know, one of the reasons why these people always go for Nnamdi Kanu is that he was able to gather the youth. 90% of Southeasterners support Nnamdi Kanu. Only the politicians hate him. I can tell you that for free. Only the politicians hate him because they don't want him to spoil for them where they are eating from. So I think for me, the first thing we should do is to have one voice, come together and have one voice. That is what I think we should do. You watching this, I ask you now, what is the way forward, or what do you think we should do at this time? Do well to drop your comment in the comment section because a lot of people really want to hear this answer. I've made my own opinion. I'm waiting for your own opinion. I'm not going to allow you to hear what Goodluck Jonathan said about the state of Nigeria and other things happening in Nigeria. Because I tell you that Nigeria, Otilo, please do well to watch it. Then drop your comment in the comment section. What you think, please.
All the military officers who were involved in this Boko Haram saga should be able to give us information about what the Boko Haram stood for. If it is only about hunger, because we try different options, I don't need to give a sermon. It will look as if I am trying to defend my own government. That will come up later when we will document, we write our books. But I believe we took different options, set different committees. We tried our best within that 5 years that I was there. I believe late Buhari too must have tried his best because one of the committees we set up then, the Boko Haram nominated Buhari to lead their team to negotiate with government. So I was feeling that, if they nominated Buhari to represent them and have a discussions with the government committee, then when Buhari took over, it would have been an easy way to negotiate with them and they would have handed over their guns, but it was still there till today. I believe the government, luckily the defense minister is here. The service chiefs all are represented there. I think we will need a slightly different approach, and God willing. The military services don't play unnecessary politics. Well, we know there's politics everywhere, but they play the politics within the army, not the kind of politics we play. But after leaving office, I realized that quite a number of professionals in the security services play dirty politics. But General Rabo is one person that does not get into that. White is white, black is black. Thank you, you're a gift to this country. And the title of the book is quite interesting. Scars and the Boko Haram Conundrum. It is interesting because, when I was in office, and one of the major scars on my government, and it would be on my face, and like Bishop Oga said, no plastic or cosmetic surgeon can remove it, is the issue of the Chibok girls. It's a scar that I will die with. But later on, people may know a little more details. And that's also to do with the Boko Haram. What do they really want? Of course, our chairman raised the issue when interviewed some of them, and they gave him some perspective. But probably one day, I pray that some of the Boko Haram leaders may be literate enough to document what they have done, so that people will really know what they wanted. Because it's like the story of the Nigerian Civil War. If you read one of the books, My Command, I think that's one of the first books that came out from President Obasanjo, because he was there. Then Ojukwu wrote his own, Because I Am Involved. So when those who were involved in something say it, you get a different perspective. If you go through a research, interview a lot of people, yes, you'll get part of the story, but you will never get the full story of the Boko Haram. Because I was there, the Boko Haram started 2009 when I was the vice president to late Yaradua. Of course, I took over 2010 for 5 years, battling with the Boko Haram until I left. I thought that immediately I leave, within a reasonable time, late General Buhari was going to wipe them out, but till today, the Boko Haram is still there. So the issue of Boko Haram is a little more complex than sometimes we can conjecture. In 1999, when Obasanjo just became a president, we know we had some issues in the Southwest. But government was able to bring it down because there was a clear focus, there was clear reason, and government was able to. Then we had issues in the Niger Delta. And when I became the vice president, one of the major things I did was to visit the most dangerous camp of the militants in the Niger Delta. I remember when we flew down to Warri, by the time we get to the waterfront to take boats to that camp, they sent information to us that anybody following me must not carry a weapon. My ADC, my CSO, that nobody should carry a weapon. In fact, the Commissioner of Police of Delta State said, Vice President, no, you will not go there. The State Director of SSS to say, no, I will not go. I told them I will go. So even my officers, my ADC, my CSO and so on, they handed over their guns to the CP and the SDS of Delta State, and none of them carried a weapon. When we landed at the camp, these boys lined up one this way, one road this way, with their assault rifles, just facing the bush, not even looking at my direction as if there was nothing happening. We marched through them, we passed through them, sorry. We had a meeting with their leaders and so on. We had spent almost 1 hour there. When we came back, that was the beginning of solving the the Niger Delta crisis. And we're able to get through. At least now there's a reasonable pace in the Niger Delta. If you, like Bishop mentioned, the 82 and 83, when we have the Maitasinde religious crisis in this country. From research, the Maitasinde religious crisis, when some of them were arrested and analyzed and interviewed, they came from parts of the Sahel area within Nigeria and outside Nigeria, where we had major droughts within that period, and the river pest disease that wiped out so many cattle, and so many young people from these areas migrated to the cities, Maiduguri and others, and they had no skills and nothing to do. And they were able to be recruited and cause havoc. Luckily, it was a military government then, so when the military intervened, they were able to bring it down because there was a clear reason. The reason of young people who were looking for survival, but they had no skills, and so on and so forth. So if you put all these things together, you begin to say, this Boko Haram, why is it that from 2009 till date, we've not been able to resolve the crisis of Boko Haram? So just like Bishop Kuka tried to raise some fundamental issues. Yes, we need to approach it differently. The issue of carrots and the stick may be adopted. And yes, probably they need such a, but if you look at the weapons they use and you value the weapons, then you know that these are not hungry people. So the soldiers that sometimes capture some of the weapons will see better. But the weapons they use, the ammunitions they use, sometimes they even have more ammunitions than our soldiers. So it doesn't show that they're hungry people. And where are these guns, sophisticated weapons coming from? And you begin to see that the external hands are also involved, especially when I was a president. So it's a bit complex. And it's not a matter of a single story. But I believe as a nation, we have to look at the concept of Boko Haram and approach it differently from the conventional approach. I believe one day we'll get over it. So once again, let me thank General Irabo for this, because I always appreciate people who clearly document events, so that maybe sometimes when we write our own, we'll borrow from...
They wanted Nigeria to burn if Buhari did not become president in 2015. I contested alongside Buhari for Senate. I contested for Senate in 2011. You have it on YouTube. He said, blood, soaked in blood, the baboon and the... Ever since he made that comment, I refused to go and campaign with Buhari. Refused completely. It didn't matter if I lost the Senate seat. I won it eventually. Insecurity for a former president to say, you soak in blood. And then there was, Kaduna is my state. There was serious violence in Kaduna. Many houses were burnt. Emir's houses in Ongwansarki, Demna Abba had their houses burnt and all that, simply because of a statement. They went and brought in people from those neighboring places in readiness to remove Jonathan by all means. So the desperation of people to get Jonathan out of power has built up and added to what we call insecurity in Nigeria today.
So you're inferring that all what we have seen over the last few years as insecurity is orchestrated?
Of course.
And it's political?
Of course. Last year around this time.
This narrative.
Last year around this time. Whatever I tell you, I'll try to give you evidence. Last year around this time, we were just negotiating the release of our own nephew. And when he came out, what he said is not much different from what Nasiru El-Rufai is saying. They complained that, and this young man is alive. He could come here tomorrow and you interview him. He's alive now in Zaria. He's alive. That, look, they are not making much money relying on these handouts from government. Each time they go out to operate, they make more money. Like he does in their hand. We kept negotiating. He's alive and he can come to this and sit with you, Shehu Akimbaloyi, and you interview him. This is a fact. But my grudge with Nasiru's statements is that he was part and parcel of APC from 2013. Like he told you, he was one of the architects of it all. All of a sudden, to come and absolve himself and call others. No. Nasiru is part and parcel of all that has been going on. We suffered, we are victims of Nasiru's misrule in Zaria. Go back December 2015, when a war was supposed to have been won in the Northeast. What business, what military and strategic business did an army chief have to come to Zaria for a convocation, not of NDA, graduation of recruits, privates, choosing to follow the route where the Shiites were holding. All these things were orchestrated. They knew the exact hour, the exact minute that he was coming to pass, because they had the technology. And 800 people were killed because they wanted to raise down the temple that was built. These things were carefully doctored and orchestrated.
These are heavy allegations that you are making, and which one
And
will imagine? One will imagine someone of your status in the society.
Yeah.
Why are you just saying this? Why are you saying this? Does it amount to a political gimmick, or
no.
What exactly are you up to with this?
Shehu, I've been saying it. I said it in your own program. I mentioned the link about North Africa. In your own program, go back and check. Play the archives.
All right. So, what do you make of it? Drop your comment. I will see you in my next video. Thank you very much, and may God continue to bless you.